can you see this person's perspective,
Right.
but can you see beyond this barrier that is in front of you right now? And we do get to that place of gratitude and actually appreciation. Now, it takes us refusing to stay in a victim mindset in order to do that.
Well, we are live on YouTube and we're live on Facebook, Transcending Turbulence being our home spot. And then, of course, on the Devon O'Day page. Teri Pugh, how are you?
I feel so good.
Oh, that's good.
I
love
do.
it.
How do you feel?
I'm feeling better. It's, I started, to be quite honest with you, the last few months, okay, 6, I have not felt like me.
24 years.
24 years, I've felt like me. And so I started looking at the medication combo that I had been put on by a doctor for something that's hereditary and stuff. And all of the things that I've experienced that aren't me are side effects of this medicine combo.
Yeah.
And I just decided to do a little research and to take my health into my own hands a little bit. And so I'm working on that. And I've got I'm going to go and visit my friend Danny Williamson down in Brentwood with Integrative Health and see if there's something that can be done that a little bit more in a natural way. So there's so many things that I think that we need to take a look at. I went on the Mayo. I didn't just go on the internet and look at forums and stuff. Mayo Clinic and the Cleveland Clinic, drug.com and druginteraction.com will give you some things that might be important for you. So I just think if you're in that situation, I just noticed that a lot of my friends on this same particular drug combo are being rushed to the doctor for heart issues, one being congestive heart failure. And then they get to the doctor and it's not congestive heart failure. And then they go, oh, we don't know what it is. But this particular 2 drugs together for blood pressure are causing things like if your legs swell, your ankles swell, and that's unusual for you. You might want to check drug interactions and things like that. So just letting everybody know. Well, so that's a long answer to a short question, but that's where I am today. And it's taken, that's why popcorn topics. We all got questions, right?
We got them. Let's get to them.
All right. Let's see. And our first one, I love this one. Is lying to protect someone's feelings ever right?
Well, I guess that depends on what they're lying about and what context it's in. Does my butt look big in these jeans? Well, do you have to be direct and hurt somebody's feelings? Maybe they want their butt to look big in the jeans, so tell them, yeah. But if someone asks you a direct question and they trust you as a treasured friend, ally in their life, we would have to ask ourselves, do they deserve the truth? And I don't mean that they deserve the truth, but I mean, they trust us. They're coming to us for asking a qualifying question to get an answer. And if you know something that, I think that you can phrase things to people where it's very gentle and tender. And some people need very direct. So I guess, again, that goes into the context. If your 5-year-old child comes to you and says, is there a Santa Claus? You're probably going to lie to them.
Okay, here's one of the context of the question is, I think my significant other is cheating. And they are. And you just want to stay out of it. Can you stay out of it in good conscience?
Well, first, that's not a question. That's a statement. So if they think they're cheating, okay. If they say, do you know, then it's, that's an individual thing. You have to ask yourself, are they asking me because they want, they're inquiring, they want to know. If then, that's an individual thing. I would tell them. If I knew, I would tell them. That's not to throw the other person under the bus. It's because they're my friend and they're asking, and I am privy to information.
That's always a tough one because you think, am I going to lose both people when I do this? It's just it's kind of
Well,
crazy.
I mean, yes, but also ask yourself, check your quality of friends. And, I mean, if you've got a friend that's in the friend circle that's cheating on another friend, then okay. Is that somebody that you really want in your circle? And I'm saying maybe they've got the most toxic relationship ever, but if you do, exit the relationship.
Oh, gotcha. You think sometimes you think in terms of, should I volunteer this information if they don't ask? What if they're going on like happy Mary Jane is in a happy sunshine relationship and, oh, he's so wonderful. She's so wonderful. Everything's so wonderful. And then, but something that would devastate and blow up the whole thing. Do you stay quiet?
Again, that's an individual choice. I don't think that, I think you have to look at the context of it. If someone is happy, you can rest assured that at some point, if someone is being unfaithful in a relationship, it's going to surface. Yeah. And, I say, let them have their happy until they discover it on their own rather than being blindsided by somebody.
Gotcha.
I mean,
good advice. Yeah.
I mean, it's, that's a tricky one because some friends will believe you and some friends won't. And either way, it's okay.
Yeah.
If they believe you, great. If they don't, that's okay too. But I don't think we necessarily have the right to voluntarily want to blow somebody's life up if we haven't been asked that question.
Good point. And if they find out later, well, you knew and you didn't tell me. And it's like, look, I can't win in that situation. If I had told you, you probably wouldn't have believed me, and then you wouldn't be my friend, and your person wouldn't be my friend because you would have mentioned it to them and mentioned my name. So I would have lost you both volunteering something when you weren't ready yet.
And that's again, that's a double-edged sword, but you just have to, and again, I guess it's the context of it. If you know someone who is, their significant other is out on the town in broad daylight in public, doesn't care kind of thing. Mm-hmm. You have to ask yourself, is that something you would want to know? I mean, that's a sticky one because it's really a no-win no matter how you go about it.
Right. Exactly. Elizabeth joins us, telling everybody happy Wednesday. You two are looking lovely this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Rhonda says meds can do weird things to you. They can. Elizabeth said, good for you. Meds can be life-saving, can be some pretty strong side effects for us. Mm-hmm. Rhonda says lying is never right. It's all in how you deliver something heard. So, all right. Oh, some questions are asked when folks don't want the honest answer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lie to me. Our Margie Singleton, y'all should listen to the song that she had recorded by Brooke Benton. Lie to me. I like it better that way. Mm-hmm. It really is.
Lying is a big word because, we can twist that around lots of different ways. And I don't know anybody in their life who hasn't lied. And I don't know anybody in their life. And that goes all the way from school teachers to ministers to preachers to parents to kids. There's not one of us that has never told a lie. It's the spectrum of the lie that we get in that can, I mean, there are some things, if my daughter came to me at 5 and said, is there a Santa? I'm not going to say no, there's not. I'm not going to not,
Right.
So
Elizabeth, this is a good point. I don't know how I'd answer that if someone asked me that question. Honestly, I think it would depend on who was asking me. A very close friend or family member, I'd be honest. An acquaintance, I'd probably just avoid answering. That's about cheating. Now, moving on to another question. Why can't I give myself permission to have fun? Fun is something And I've learned a lot about this from Teri when she talked to me about coloring. Coloring was one of those activities I went, what? It's amazing how sitting in front of a children's coloring book. I don't mean those adult coloring books that are like all detailed and stuff. I mean like big old pictures where you just,
The butterflies and the bears and the tutus. Those.
Yes. Yes. Why is that such a magic exercise?
Well, for some people, not everybody, but for some people, the sensory of smelling the crayons, the texture of the paper, those two touch or those two sensories can bring back a lot of memories that can feel good. Not so good for other people. So it doesn't work for everybody, but there is something that gives us free reign to sort of stretch a little bit. Like you just mentioned the adult coloring books, and to your point about them being tedious, a lot of people love them because they are very tedious. And you can definitely get lost in the coloring with those. You usually use color pencils because crayons don't really work with them because the lines are so small.
So tiny, yeah.
But even with that, we're already bumping ourselves up out of our childlike state, because as children, we didn't really all sit around with colored pencils. We had crayons, and it was okay
Big,
to be out.
fat crayons.
Yes. And it was okay to color outside the lines, and it was okay to scribble. And it was just our little project. So when we sit down and you rub your hand across that page and it feels good, and then you open the box of crayons and, you look for the sharp crayon and you just start coloring, it feels freeing for a lot of people to be able to be in that space. Plus it's a very meditation and motion type thing. And you can just sort of get in that space and start doing it. And before you know it, you've created a masterpiece,
Yeah.
Even if your donkey is purple.
It's okay if your donkey is purple. And
100%.
Suzanne says, I color and paint my numbers. It takes away my stress. Yeah, my numbers.
Yeah.
It sometimes those things are just little gifts that we have, but there are other childlike joys that opens up the door to. How many times have we said, I will have fun when I finish my work, when I finish my house, when I've done all the chores there are to do, then and only then can I have fun.
Absolutely.
And so you never have fun because you never finish.
Right. Well, because we've always got to-do lists that we keep adding to it. We'll scratch it out, we'll add more, we'll scratch it out, we'll add more. But nowhere on that to-do list is color, blow bubbles,
make a daisy chain.
Yeah.
Sit outside with clover. What is it that keeps us as adults from giving ourselves permission? I think that's at the bottom of what we're asking. What is the thing? Is it something that was put in our minds when we were younger that said fun is for babies? You're no longer a baby. You have to do chores.
Well, I don't know if it was put in our head, but I think just socially, there's a construct there within social parameters that say that you got to grow up sometime. And when you grow up, you got to work. And when you work's not necessarily fun. And then you got responsibilities, and responsibilities don't sound very fun. So by the end of the day, you've got work, you've got responsibilities, you've got family, you've got pets, you've got all these things that you're taking care of. And there's just no time to have fun, which I think is complete BS. We can have fun whenever I colored this morning while I was having my coffee, while I was watching the hummingbird, dodge my head like he was in the Maverick or something from that Tom Cruise movie.
Top Gun, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on? But yeah, I sat outside and colored a little bit, had a few sips of coffee, and just, started my day that way.
I love this. Have you ever just go to the park and swing? Isn't that something? It is very simple. Yeah.
It is very simple. And I love that. But I'm going to just be real. My ass is so big for them swings right now. That chain would dig in the sides of me. So I'd have to have me a big swing. And if I had one, yes, I would swing. I can't do those little, what is that other little thingy called? Suzanne will know what this is. You get on that, little kids ran around it and then you jumped on it and it took you around in circles. I can't do that because of my vertigo, but I love watching people do it. Yeah. I love hearing adults and children laugh because they're having so much fun doing that.
One of the things that I always loved, and I haven't given myself a chance to do it, and I don't even know if they still have it at school because it might be violent, but tetherball.
Oh, girl, I love me some tetherball.
That was so much fun in my life. I just remember going, and I could play tetherball by myself and be just as, I actually preferred it by myself because I could win. If I had somebody else there, it's like, no, I almost was done. And then you got it back. It's like, oh my,
Yeah.
but it is. And Elizabeth says fun is relative. I don't need fun to be thrilling and exciting. Sometimes fun is simply sitting on the sofa with a cup of coffee and petting whichever cat is on my lap. Fun can come in quietly too. Oh, that's so good.
Absolutely. And again, fun by definition it's just like happiness. It's a very subjective definition to what's fun for people. I know people that golf. I know people that bungee jump. I know people that juggle all kinds of things, swords included. That's not fun for me.
No.
I don't like that stuff. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Somebody
I
might
don't
not
want
like
to
the
jump out of an
color.
airplane either. Jim,
Yeah.
if you're watching, I will never do that with you.
Yeah.
He's part of a skydiving team. And I just
But-
like, Jim, I love you. No.
But for some people, that stuff is fun. It's exciting. And that's wonderful. That's why those things exist, right? Just to be able to have have the cat on the couch, or the swing in the park, or the skydive.
There's a show that I want to call it. I can't even think of the name of it, but I found it. And there's a scene where the girl is a homeschool teacher to a youngster who has special needs of some sort. Might be Asperger's, I'm not sure, but he has special needs and she worked with him. First of all, it was like, no, we'll do this when we're finished. No, we'll do this when we're finished. But then she realized, if I put in these breaks, hey, if you do this, we're going to take a 15-minute break and you can play your video game for 15 minutes. How about that? And it became a reward to the fact that you did what you needed to do in short spurts. And so that's what I encourage you, is to put your fun within your day. And it's all about balance. It's all about balance.
Absolutely. And just a side note for adults, for adults that are just our attention span, we have about a 12 to 18 minute window where we can hear somebody rattle on before we just drift off, before we lose interest in it. Even before we start panning the room and looking at other people or looking at the phone or whatever. So anytime you are doing something in your day, put little windows in there, give yourself little wedges where you can get up and take a break. And I know that we get in that mindset of, no, I just got 10 more minutes and then I'll be done. And 3 hours later, you're still not done. You're going just 10 more minutes and I'll be done. So give yourself that time, because your brain actually needs that time to recalibrate itself and refocus.
I love it.
Some people, I won't say can't do that, but some people, are task oriented. So when they start it, they need to see it through, but at least give yourself a window by, if you start at 8 a.m, if I'm not done by 11:30, I'm going to take a 30-minute break.
Okay.
And that's
just okay.
It's just giving your brain some time. You might not need those shorter incrementals, but give yourself, don't spin, give yourself time to get some more traction.
And standing up. Let's just say standing up and have some movement in those increments is very important.
Put your favorite song on. It's 4 minutes long. Whatever songs are typically 3 to 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
And wiggle a little bit.
Yeah. Do a little dancing. Okay. Oh, wow. I love this one. I feel no passion for anything anymore. My pilot light is out. How do I reignite?
Well, a couple of things. That could be some mental illness going on. You could have some mental health issues. You could have some form of depression. You would want to explore that. That doesn't always require medication. but there are tools that people can use to get them back. When I talk with people that are like, I don't want to eat, I can't sleep, I can't sleep, but all I want to do is sleep. I don't have any life for anything in life. I don't love anything in life. I'm not there. That's an issue. And that's not something where it's like, oh, go make a daisy chain and color, you're going to feel better. That's crazy. That's like telling someone to snap out of it. If it's a true chemical depression, then you can't snap out of those things. Well, not you can't snap out of them. You shouldn't be required to snap out of it because there's something going on that needs to be addressed. Now, if you're that person that's been raised with a super busy schedule and now you find yourself in your late 20s, your early 30s, your 40s, or even your 50s, and sitting quietly is boring to you, I'm not happy with this, I don't have anything to do, no one likes me, la, la, la. Well, then you get to change that.
Yep.
There's a difference in truly feeling it in being overwhelmed with, I don't have anything to give. And I don't care that I don't have anything to give. And I don't have anything to give and nobody likes me and everything is boring. And those are kind of choices. Like you can find something to do.
I think
to help yourself on the inside first.
Right. I think that we have been lulled into a thought that depression means sadness and overwhelming sadness. But the thing that really depression for many people, they've described it as a nothingness.
Yes. Overwhelming sadness would be grief.
Ooh, good point.
And there are a lot of people, Devon, that are in overwhelming sadness and they are misdiagnosed as being depressed. And so then they get on. And again, this is not a kudos to people that are taking their medication, stay on it, be well. But there are a lot of folks who are not chemically depressed, but they are situationally depressed. So they are grieving and they get on an antidepressant. And that then numbs them sort of out to everything, but they're still, their emotions are still grieving while their mind is kind of checked out. So there's something's not reconciled in there. So you got to know which one you're dealing with there.
Elizabeth said her depression was described as though I was in a black hole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The nothingness. And then there's some that something might be just as clinical as loneliness. Mm-hmm. I don't have a connection aside from all the big group things that I do or whatever, you know. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes there's moments when, because of my schedule, I get so busy, and the times when I'm not busy, everybody else is either asleep or they're busy. So there's that thing, and you have to figure out a way to live with that and to stop that.
Well, and there's a true physiological thing that happens to us because humans, you know, there's a connectivity that happens. I won't say we were born to all hang out and be besties, but there's a, I mean, from the very point that we come into the earth, there's this world, there's someone there with us. So we get bonded with people. We get, you know, sometimes you're bonded to the point of codependency with people, but there's a desire of being, not necessarily being with people. Because a lot of times when I talk with folks about being with people, the first thing they think is, oh, or I don't clubbing and hanging out and all that loud noise. You can be with people and be quiet.
You can be in a knitting circle for that.
Yes. I mean, it's about the energy shared, you know, and for men and women, creating brotherhoods and sisterhoods of having folks that you don't have to have everything in common. When we become adults, we get really picky about friends, and you got the right to be picky about friends, but sometimes we take that to the extreme where it's like, well, they don't believe in the same thing I believe in religiously, and they don't believe in the same thing I believe in politically, and they don't even eat green beans. I don't know who they are. You know, I mean, we get into this thing where we just start picking the shit out of people rather than just getting to know them. I've got
Mhm.
friends that I know that I absolutely adore, and they are nowhere on the map with me in so many of the big things that, where I swim, the ponds I swim in, but
Mhm.
I still adore them as human beings. And we have valuable conversations, you know. And also the other part about that is if you are lonely, you got to check yourself, because are you also saying, I don't want to bother them? I don't want to bother them. Because if you're saying that, then you're perpetuating the whole cycle of loneliness.
That's right. That's right. Elizabeth, I love this, and this is important. I'm one of those folks with chemical depression. Life can be absolutely terrific. And if I forget to take my meds for a few days, bam, it hits
Mm-hmm.
me in the face. Thankfully, I know this now and realize what is going on. Thank you for
Yes.
that. Oh, thank
Yes.
you for that.
And that's what I'm talking about, Elizabeth. Like there are medications, a lot of people, I for one don't prescribe or diagnose with folks, but I also know, I know my heart runs away. I'm on medication for it, and I'm damn skippy glad I am, because I don't like the thing that my heart's doing. So,
Yeah.
there are things, and while I'm on this medication, I'm also solution-based thinking, trying to figure out what's causing this.
Yeah.
So, but there are anxieties, there are depressions, there are OCD tendencies. There's all kinds of things that go on in our world. And if any, I mean, especially in the last 2 years, mental health mental health matters. That's a hashtag out there. The blanket is sort of being pulled back from the shame and the stigmatism about it not being okay, because real talk, everybody's got something going on.
Right.
I mean, everybody has something going on. So if you find something that works for you, that's healthy for you, then utilize that tool.
Mm, that's good stuff. That is good stuff. Well, it's 27 minutes in. So do you want to do one more question, or do you want to put a bow on this puppy and wait for next week?
Let's see one more question.
Okay. All right. This one's a doozy. I just want to
Uh-oh.
warn you. I hate my job. After COVID, I can't just overlook it anymore, but I need the paycheck. What do I do?
Well, what stirs your passion? Can you go back to school nights or weekends, do something, shift into a different career? Maybe you hate your job. Maybe you hate the people you work with. Can you pick up something that you do? And I'm not talking about a side hustle. I'm talking about, is there something that you like to do? Is there
Mhm.
painting? Is there something you like to do? And if you're in your, I mean, the paycheck is a big thing, but also we can't become slaves to that. So your happiness should never be thwarted off because the paycheck is coming in.
A lot of people have found, and there was a great article in the Wall Street Journal a couple of weeks ago about the Great Resignation,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody is being, instead of just the Great Recession, people, yes, there are financial issues and there are a lot of things, but after COVID and people were home, they went, wait a minute, I am no longer willing to go back into a toxic life.
Mm-hmm.
My life has value. I have the blessing of COVID is that it taught us that what we were missing, our
Mm-hmm.
time with our animals, our time with our kids, our time with our spouses, our time literally to have a quality of life. And you realize, how much time a day do you spend driving in and out of an office stuck in traffic? How much time is lost?
Mm-hmm.
And we are not willing to just give that to someone else anymore.
Well, the other part about that, other than just the time, like for financial gain, is our friendships. A lot of friendships just sort of fizzled, like an Alka-Seltzer at the bottom of the cup. They just, and people take offense to that. Well, we used to be friends and now we're not anymore. Well, there's a reason for that. Like sometimes we're not being, I mean, I don't know about anybody else. I'm sure I'm the only one that's ever done this. Let me just put it that way. Committed to doing something with friends, and
Yeah.
then you're doing it and you're thinking, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I would rather be home dusting right now. I love to clean house. So that's not a slam on cleaning
Elizabeth
house.
does too. That's her. Deep cleaning the house
Yeah,
is like her joy.
love it. But, being true to ourselves and like not overcommitting ourselves and going, no, that's okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for the invite. I'm going to pass, and finding things that create a pocket of joy that can expand. That's what we work on. And also defining what that joy means. Like Elizabeth said, fun, joy doesn't have to be bells and whistles and sparklers. It can be a nice cup of coffee. I started to say Java. Could be a nice cup of coffee on the couch with the kiddies. And that can be fun, relaxing. It can be whatever you want it to be.
I love it. I love it. Well, that brings us to the end of a broadcast episode. Popcorn topics are what we do, every now and then, because you guys send us questions, and I have my little handy dandy cup, and I just write it down on my little Post-it notes, and I've got a notebook, and I put all of our questions that are used. I just put those little Post-it notes in there so I know what we've talked about. But if you'd like to send us something, oh my goodness, we can take it at devonoday@gmail.com, and Transcending Turbulence. You have an email there as well.
I do.
So if you've got something that you want to put on this show and you want to talk about, we're here. And we encourage you to share this on your pages. This is like a little support group. We meet once a week on Wednesdays on all of these pages. And whether it's Facebook or it's YouTube, we try to make it where you don't have to be part of a social media network to be part of what we do.
Right. And I will go so far as to say also, don't be shy about your topics, because we're not afraid to unpack anything. So if
we started, what is it? Heavy lifting for a lighter spirit.
Yes. If something is heavy on you, or whatever it is, we won't use your name if you don't want your name used. But if something is heavy on you and you're just like, I really want to talk about this. Children, use this as your 30-minute free session and just put it out there, because I can assure you, you're not the only one struggling with something like that. And you're what's heavy on your heart. The knowledge and the information and the insight that come to you might help 100,000 other people, or one. It doesn't matter what the number is.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. That's right.
You guys have a great rest of your day. And remember, devonoday@gmail.com. And we're here every day, and we love for you to share. You're going to take it home?
I am going to take it home. We appreciate all of you so much. And please do leave us your messages, your input, your feedback. Hashtag us if you want to. Have an amazing rest of your week. And we will see you next Wednesday. Increase your peace.